What I have is a question. Who are the people who don't respond to the fight of the great God? Who are the people who refuse to respond? Maybe we'll trace them with anger. Who are those people?
I believe when you read Revelation 21.
The question actually, in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ,
Amen.
the blood of our Lord Jesus Christ,
Amen.
now and forevermore.
Amen.
It is the disobedient child, because in Luke chapter 19, verse 27,
Yes.
our Lord Jesus Christ made a categorical statement. He said, "But all those mine enemies,
Yes.
who would not that I should rule over them,
Yes.
bring them before me and slay them." Because anybody who is disobedient, even in the human system today, Proverbs 28 verse 1 has a statement, say, "The wicked run it when no man pursue it."
Yes.
A man who is free, you're moving along the street, you see the police vehicle parked by the roadside, doesn't mean anything to you. Even your speed will be normal speed if you're driving. But the criminal, the gun runner, the dope pusher, the killer, and so on and so forth, there's an instinctive psychology in them. Before they know it, their leg is going hard on the pedal, because that instinctive nature in them is trying to run away from the danger which the law enforcement presents around them. The same thing with God. The man who's walking in the right is said in Galatians chapter 5 from verse 19 to 21. He said, "Now the works of the flesh are this, which are made manifest: adultery, fornication, envy, murder, drunkenness, lasciviousness, and so on and so forth." Listed many of them. He said, "Of which I tell you in the time past, as I'm also telling you right now, that whosoever doeth these things shall never inherit the kingdom of God."
Yes.
But he went further to say from 22 to 24, he said, "But the fruits of the Spirit are love, peace, mercy, long-suffering, patience, faith, endurance, and so on and so forth." He said, "Against such, there's no law." It's definitive. When you walk on the path of righteousness, which is right living, right attitude, right conduct, right behavior, right speech, right thought, you have nothing to worry about.
Amen.
But when you walk to the contrary, the law of the contrary follows you, because whatever a man sows, according to Galatians 3 verse 27, he shall reap. Galatians 6 verse 7 rather. Say, "Do not be deceived, God is not mocked.
Yes.
That whatsoever a man sows, same he shall he reap. That if you of the flesh sow corruption, you shall of the flesh reap corruption.
Yes.
But if you of the spirit sow incorruption, you shall of the spirit reap life everlasting." So the ones that he will trade in the winepress of his anger are those insubordinate, disobedient ones who constitute stumbling blocks to the progress of his glory and work.
Yes.
It doesn't matter whether you're putting on your white garment, or you work in the Methodist, in the Catholic, in the Anglican, Presbyterian, Baptist, Episcopal, or whatever, whether a Muslim in the mosque, whether a Shia, Sunni, Shiite, whatever you call yourself, or Hindu, or Buddhist, or Shinto, Zoroastrian, whatever is your religion, even if you're an atheist, you're an animist, and you walk contrary to the will of God, the same consequence awaits you. And if you remember the story of a good Samaritan, he said he doesn't believe God, he doesn't believe man. But he saw a man that was wounded on the road. The priest saw him and was rushing to the synagogue to go and preach. The prophet saw him, he's rushing to the church to preach. The pastor, everybody, nobody, even the congregant saw the man too. And he was trying to be in the church, to be in the front seat, so that the pastor or the priest would see him as a very, very faithful worshiper, right? He said, but this man was passing by. He said, well, I don't know where this man comes from. I don't know whether the God exists anywhere. It's not my headache. But I travel like this man. What happened to this man can happen to me. He got down, bound the wounds, gave him first aid, took him on his horse to the clinic. Begged the doctors and the nurses, said, please take care of this man. Even stayed over a night to see the state of the man. Then the next morning as he was leaving, he made a deposit with the cashier and say, please, doctor, take care of this patient. This is my card. I'm going on a journey. You know, I pass this road always. I'll come back again. When I come back, whatever is left of his bill, you can discharge him if it's okay before I come back. But whatever is his bill, keep it for me, I will pay. Our Lord Jesus Christ asked them, who is the true child of God? Who practiced the teachings of Christ? It is the man that showed practical love.
Yes.
The one that goes to worship so that they'll see his face in the church may not be the child of God, but he who does the will of God. That's why I say, many will call me Father, Father. I do not know you, but he that does the will of my Father which is in heaven. In the name of the Lord Jesus Christ.
Amen.
Amen. And we had the answer also we read earlier from Revelations 21, verses 7 to 8.
Revelations 21,
Yes.
verses 7 and 8. He said, he that overcometh shall inherit all things, and I will be his God, and he shall be my son. But the fearful and unbelieving and the abominable and murderers and whoremongers and sorcerers and idolaters and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. May the Father bless the reading of his holy word.
Amen.
Amen.